Okay, so welcome to the 10th episode of the Joe Zone podcast, and I'm sitting with Chantel Jax Venter, also known as Jax Justice. She's informed me to tell you guys. We're going to talk about, today, Chantel is a comedian. She's also, she runs a few gigs, and I see her as an artist. My first interaction with Chantel, can I tell you my first interaction with you? Can you remember it?
No, dude.
You can't remember it?
Cape Town Comedy Club, probably.
Yeah. So my first interaction with Chantel Venter is my first time on stage. I come off stage. I have like shell shock. And I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh, and I walk over to my seat and I sit down and you come over to me. And you give me a hug. You're like, dude, that was awesome. I enjoyed that so much. And I look at you shell-shocked and you just look at me and you say, no, dude, I'm not trying to suck your dick or anything. And I burst out laughing. And then you walk away but I didn't know in what, I didn't know that you're lesbian. I didn't know the whole part, the background behind the joke. But anyway, yeah, that was our first interaction. And to me, that was an awesome interaction because... it was the first time I was putting myself out there and somebody came to me and told me, oh, that's quiet. So, off the bat, I already knew, this is a liquor person. And I hope my explaining that story, illustrating that story, that can explain to my listeners or so how you are. So, without me, I'm talking too much here. How did you get into comedy, if I may ask?
Jeez, dude, same thing you did, man. It was like a competition. And it was this banter thing where somebody said to me, you're really funny, you should do comedy. Get into this competition in Durbanville with Joe Emilio. And I said, nah, man, I'm not doing it. So somebody offered me money. And then, of course, I was going to do it. I was a broke waiter, man. And I came second in that competition out of 24 comics for my first time, which... was humbling, but now if I look back at it now, I was really crap.
Where was the competition?
Meraki in Durbanville.
Okay, I don't know the place.
No, you don't want to know the place. I don't want to badmouth the place or anything. Okay. But jeez, no, bro. That's where people hit each other with wheel spanners and shit. Sure. So no, you don't want to go to Meraki.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Sounds like a Brooklyn type of area.
Yeah, no, well, that's where Durbanville people go just to see what it is to be outside Durbanville. You know, that's Meraki for you, bro.
Okay. Okay, so you started off there, and then that was your first set on stage. And then how did you sort of get the ball rolling? Joe Emilio put a lot of people on. Eh? I know you put on Pius or so. You encouraged Pius or so.
Pius started a year after myself. Look, Joe's done great work in the northern suburbs. He's actually nurtured like newcomers and all of that stuff for the past 6 years, to be honest. I mean, from there on, it's really difficult because Cape Town didn't have much to offer for newcomers. So you would end up going to like Armchair. Yeah. And that was pretty much your one place you could go to as an open micer.
Yes.
But now you have to find out these types of things via people.
Yes.
And it wasn't easy, man. Like, it's not easy to come out of Durbanville, which is like the safe haven to you. Yeah. Get to Cape Town and see, oh shit, but these people are funny.
Yeah. And how many years ago was that?
3 years, bro.
So even like I can well imagine 3 years ago it was a lot more difficult than it is even now, because now it's a little bit easier, but back then it was much more.
We've built a community. Yeah. I think we've got like 24 gigs running on a weekly basis at this point. Sure. I mean, come on, guy. We had like one gig where we could have like 5 minutes twice a month, versus now you can play at least an hour, a month.
Yeah. If you put in the work, they have a lot of.
Yeah, if you graft, bro.
So 3 years ago you started, right?
Yeah.
And then, what was your? Were you working at the time? You were a waitress, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I actually was working in corporate, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah, I was in corporate for about 5 years.
Doing what? Admin?
Dude, I was a financial manager, which is ironic. I know. I failed math as well. And they still employed me. No, but yeah, so I left corporate now about 3 months ago, and I've been doing it professionally for 3 months. Okay. And it's been surprisingly much better than I anticipated.
I thought you were doing this like a lot longer. So you only now 3 months now.
3 months professionally, bro. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, I know a little bit about your education. I googled you a bit there, or LinkedIn you, stalker. you studied music.
Yeah.
How does that fit into this whole? Did you, as a young girl, did you always have a passion for art?
Yeah, dude. I think I'm like the one creative person out of my entire family, which is Arb. I'm starting to think, like, questioning if my father is really my father. But it's look, at the end of the day, music and all of those things tie in together. It's just
Yeah.
different art forms. It's still rhythm. Comedy has rhythm. It's got pauses. It's got the same dynamic to it. Loved music. Always wanted to be a musician.
Yeah.
But some of us are made to listen and appreciate, and some of us are made to make.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, in that essence, I've got a great voice, but I just don't see myself as a professional musician anymore.
Yes.
When I found comedy, it became a whole different dynamic for me, because this was something that I was really good at, and something that I could actually invest all of my time in and not feel cheated after.
That's cool. I can draw some parallels because I'm a graphic designer myself. I've always loved like art type of things and paintings and stuff like that. But when I discovered comedy, it's like it's also creative, and it's also a way of getting myself out there, my message out there. And for me, it's a better way to express myself. Like sometimes, because I struggle sometimes because I'm not the best of illustrators.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best of words guy as well, but I try, and I think that's how you get better. So I understand exactly what you mean by, like, I think everybody's creative, man. I think everybody's creative. It's just you have to find your way of expressing yourself.
There we go. It's a medium. It depends on what the medium is that makes it easiest for you to be you.
Yeah.
And comedy is pretty much that medium for me, because I mean, I'm a dark person by nature. So I've been saying this shit to my friends for years. And now, the power we hold, having a microphone in your hand, being able to either change people's lives or to break that down, that's a very powerful thing. Some of us abuse it, and some of us use it properly. And you need to use it properly, because you're changing at least 40 people at a go's perception when you're standing in a room. So you can either be the racist, sexist comic that nobody wants to listen to, or you can take those words and you can change it for the better. And I'm kind of the latter. The latter is, we need to talk about sensitive subjects, but in a proper way.
I think that's a very important thing to say, like, because some people, they don't go up on stage considering what you've just mentioned now. Some people go up there and they say, and I often question my own comedy is, am I mocking colored people in my comedy, or am I celebrating being a colored? You know what I mean? For me, that you know what my set is, and most people know what my set is. So I'm conflicted by that, like, and I try to stay true to not mocking but celebrating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes it can be a fine line, and some people.
It is a fine line, mate. But at the end of the day, I mean, South Africa being so multicultural, and South Africa being, in the cusp now of so many things changing, especially when it comes to race, it's something that, all walks of life, we need to kind of like show other cultures, other races what we're about, so we can all as a country come to the same understanding. So it's easier for a white person to be like, I get this, I understand where it's coming from, I understand why things are this way, and how these people live their lives, and how they do their things. And for colored people to look at Afrikaans people and go, you know what, I understand this and I understand that now.
Yes.
So we have understanding about different cultures. And that's what makes comedy so beautiful, is because we have the opportunity to explain that to people.
That's golden what you just said. Like, I think that is very, very. That's almost very. We need comedy to help to bring. It's like you don't need comedy, but you can use comedy to help bring people together.
Exactly. And it's a thing where people, they don't get sensitive about it, because they know it comes out of a place of humor, and out of a place of not wanting to be malicious.
Yeah.
And we need to laugh. We have so much stuff to laugh about in South Africa, guys. And we need to laugh about it, man.
Anyway, that's awesome. You're giving me gold here. So 3 years, in the past 3 years, you've developed as a comic, like, and tell me some of your highlights and lowlights. I know some of your highlights, but what is your highlight for you as a comedian for the past 3 years? Like some of them.
This has always been an interesting question for me because somebody asked me the same question a while back, and I must be honest with you that I don't celebrate. Like, I know people will be like, "Yeah, you opened for Barry Hilton, you did this, you did that." And like any time I get up on a stage is a highlight for me, because I believe that I'm only as good as my last performance, and it doesn't matter what type of room it is. It's if I leave that everlasting memory within that room and I walk out there and I know that at least 4 people are going to remember who I am because I resonated with them, that is a highlight to me for that evening.
Yeah, I got caught up in something where I highlighted a performance that I was going to do. Like, so I worked towards this performance. Like, I was gonna, I'll speak about it. I was gonna perform like a few Sundays back. I was gonna perform with Kurt Skoenraad, Stuart Taylor, Nick
nice.
Verbrummen of Roberts. I did perform with them, and Taylor and Oliver. So I thought like, wait, I'm gonna have to build up to this. So for many weeks I was like going on stage and practicing and trying to get out there, but I was structuring my comedy so that I can make them it appeal to that crowd or that whatever that crowd was going to be, and it was a charity gig. So I thought, listen, I have to structure my comedy awesome now in order to make it nice for this charity gig. And in doing that, I think I shot myself in the I was not myself.
That's the problem. I think that we place so much pressure on ourselves to impress our peers that we sometimes forget that the only people that we really need to impress is the people sitting in front of us. And the only way you do that is by just being you. Because if you lose yourself, you've lost 50% of your performance.
Yeah. It's like you said, just perform for that crowd, for that specific crowd on that moment and be excellent in that moment and not think about what's to come.
Like, not every crowd's gonna love you, guy. Like, that's just the way it works. I mean, I've been hated a lot on stage, man.
But now, you've changed the game, eh? Because I think somehow, maybe you thought you were... Well, there was a time where you thought you were not doing well on stage. But maybe you were getting some things right. But now, I see you as a totally different comic on stage to, like, maybe a year or 2 ago. Like,
yeah, that's true. I have changed.
You're more comfortable. You're more like, hey, like...
I think that, comedy has just become part of me now. I don't see it as a separate entity anymore. I see myself as comedy. I see myself as a walking product of comedy. So when I put myself up there, I always have to remember the fact that I'm selling who I am.
Yeah.
And if I'm not being me, then I'm selling the wrong product.
Yeah. That's you think it's easy to... Well, it might come easy for you to be real, like, to be really real.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people out there are real. Like.
No.
And other people know when there is real people. Like, there's a reason why people will come to you and say, listen, yeah, don't you think you want to run this?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to run this gig? Listen, yeah, I'm performing at the Baxter. Don't you want to back me up? Because I know you can back me up, like, properly. Like, you know that the person will be there. You know what I mean?
Look, it's a great feeling, bro. I will tell you, it's a great feeling. And yes, playing at the Baxter... this week is a very big accolade for me. Doing the things that I've done, like Gay Pride, which was 7,000 people, and especially me being a homosexual person, that was amazing for me to be able to know that I had honed the power of standing and talking to my community for the first time out of being a homosexual person for 30 years. Because the thing for me is, like, we don't use the power when it's there. And it was just the first time I just told the whole community, like, we need to start looking after ourselves. We neglect these types of things. We as homosexual people don't look after ourselves because we live the stereotype.
Yeah.
Small things like that. But yeah, it's a great feeling when you know that, peers that have been in the game for 6-7 years and upwards actually look at me and they go, you know what, I want you to play with me because I know that you can handle the room.
Yeah.
And I mean, that only comes with time because I've been hosting so much as well. So I've become witty and I have to think on my feet constantly. And that changes everything. So for you as a new comic, like, try and run rooms, dude, and host as much as you possibly can.
Sure, there's a lot of value in what you said there. It's like, do you feel there's a lot of responsibility on you also as a homosexual comic to sort of how do I say this? To get out the best message possible about your community to other people.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Would I say there's a lot of responsibility when doing it?
On you as when you're doing when you're up on stage there, and you obviously you speak about being a homosexual person, right? On stage, right? Do you feel there's a responsibility to be as concise and clear as possible about your message, like?
To be honest with you, it's not my responsibility to do this. It's each and every person's responsibility who makes a choice and lives a certain lifestyle to do that in their everyday life. But do I make it my responsibility? Yes, I do. Because I don't want the world to perceive us as a shitty community.
Yes.
I want the world to perceive us as actual people, and we're not bad people, and we're not hurting like the world by being the way we are.
Yeah.
So I've made it my responsibility to do that, but also at the same token, I'm not going to lose the funniness. There's so much funniness to being gay.
Yeah.
The fact that we're lesbians and we wear check shirts. I mean, come on. That one fashion statement that is so shit, but we chose it. You know, like the lumberjacks of the fucking world. Yay, lesbians are here.
The reason why I asked that question is because I feel the same way about the colored situation. Is like I've mentioned before, it's like I often feel like I don't want to make fun of colored people, but I also want to bring across a certain point. Myself and my wife are very, very different type of colored people. Very different. We both come from very different backgrounds, but yet we enjoy each other and each other's family so much that I just want to try to show it to the world. It's difficult to do. It's difficult to do, like, especially in 5 minutes. So that's why I started the podcast. But that's what it is. Yeah.
No, it makes sense, bro. But it's just at the end of the day, like, people generally they say things like, "What advice would you give people?" And I'm just like, you know, first of all, be yourself, because we just talk about this all the time. Be yourself. Just do your thing.
I only learned that now with us, with the Stuart, with trying to perform for other people and then just trying to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
I told him on the way here, like my friend on the way here, like, I just have to be myself. I have to just be myself all the time.
Your
like you
truth
say,
is
perform
funny.
for that moment, for that crowd. Just be yourself there in that moment. Don't try to project to be something else.
Your truth is funny. That's the thing. And once people trust you, they're more inclined to laugh at what you're saying because it's realistic. It's relatable. It's relevant. I mean, it's like the yacht. I don't even get that, guy. Like, for me as a white person, but now I know what it is, right? Because I've heard this and I've heard the explanations of things, and now I'm like, I didn't know that the Cape Flats was an entire area outside of Cape Town. I thought it was a block of flats in Mitchell's Plain, guy. Like the black market. I thought it was like this bunch of black gazebos, like lined up, and people would sell the weirdest shit there. No, I didn't know it was an actual thing. That's how daft I am, man.
Okay, so you're running quite a few gigs now. Like, tell me about them.
Yeah. So we've just we started Punjab Walk, which is like 4 different branches in Cape Town at the moment, which will be running on one evening.
Sure.
So it's
That's a
Westlake.
mammoth task.
It's amazing though. We're gonna have so much fun, dude.
Okay.
It's Westlake, it's Durbanville, it's Century City, and then Stellenbosch is opening up soon.
And Punjab is a nice restaurant.
It's amazing, man, and the food is great, and it's a great deal. We're gonna work out a food, combo thing where you get a free drink and everything when you come in as well, and it's gonna be stellar lineups. We're doing Tiger's Milk in Long Street in Cape Town every last Saturday. We do every last Thursday at Station on Bree. And I'm running a friend's room soon called Grounded. We'll do an open mic so the guys can actually like practice the material and do their thing. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a massive task when you're a promoter getting bums in seats, trying to make a room work and make it as comfortable for the comics and the audience at the same time. But if we're not doing it, nobody's going to give it to us.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you're a professional comic and you've got 30 days in a month, you're not doing much a majority of that 30 days.
Yes, you're not
So-
working 5 days a week.
Exactly. So you can worry about 4 gigs a month, okay? It won't kill you, but it just means it creates more opportunity, and at the end of the day, it's growing our industry.
Yeah, that's also something I like about you and Tyus, like the way that you guys are thinking. It's you're thinking small term of let me put money in my pocket or money on my table. You're thinking, listen, let me grow the industry so in the future I would be able to put money in my pocket
Exactly.
and food on my table, which is something that is quite too cool. I also the reason why I like to have you both on my podcast, because I think you saw pretty much two of the most hardest workers in the game. And the reason why I say you might not be getting up on stage every night as much as other people, but I see the things that you do all the time. You try to do different things. You don't just stick to one a lane, tried and tested lane of comedy. You're trying to run 4 shows. Price tries to run two. You know what I mean? He tries to have a double header. He's trying different things. You trying different things. You experimenting. Okay, that don't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
That is
Trial and error.
yeah. That is what us new comics or the new generation, say the past in comedy the last 3 years. I think that is awesome that we have to offer, like the.
Dude, we have
the
to change
community.
the game, because remember, everybody that came before us already had their opportunities, already had their stage time, already had the time to build that. Now we need to build opportunities for ourselves. And if we're not going to do it for ourselves, we can't wait around until somebody's going to book us. We need to create the opportunity to book ourselves and our friends, so we know, okay, well, we're putting up a funny lineup. We want to give comedy a great name. This is how we're going to do it. And people are going to start finding traction to comedy.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works, bruh. The hustle. The hustle is real.
Chantel, yeah, that was awesome. We did about 20 minutes. Thanks for chatting to me. We're gonna chat again.
However,
This is a small one, but this is probably a podcast for comics. But I believe if you wanna get into comedy, this is something good for you. And yeah, and if I don't know, the Joe Zone listeners, if you like what Chantel's putting down, you can check her out at Station on Bree. I mean, there's so many gigs that she's running.
Yeah, it's
We'll put all your links up, like.
yeah, you can follow me on social media and you'll probably get all of the information needed.
Oh, your fan. I see you did something for your fan.
Oh, yes.
Ramonda Eli, maybe we should mention
We have a
her.
beautiful little photo up of us together.
So she came to me at one of the gigs and she tells me, like, Ramonda Eli, she tells me, so we're speaking and I tell her, who's your favorite comic? Who do you really like to have on the Chosen podcast? And she says, oh, there's only one. Chantel Jax Justice. And I laugh and I say, do you know that she's actually, I've got her plan to come on our podcast. She said, oh no, please, I'd love to have her on.
Well, Ramonda, thank you so much, lovey. We appreciate it. Everything. I see that lady at gigs all the time, man.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that there's these people who are dedicated to watching comedy and they're out there and they're following us, and it's nice. It's
We
nice
need
to
more
know.
than that.
Yeah, we do. So bring your friends, huh? Do you have a sister? But it's yeah. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. We really do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Bye.